Hello there, hi. A lady we will call Karina has very recently been in touch with me as a professional intuitive consultant to ask about a love interest situation with a guy we will call Jim. Now, I know that Jim is not the man for her. And how do I know that? Because I have intuitively tuned into him, as I do, something I've been doing professionally for 29 years now. And, looking at the human being behind the love interest persona. So here's the story. So they met maybe a year ago and, just bumped into each other whilst out and about. And they spent time together and they had a nice evening and they had fun. But they didn't really stay in touch. Or at least Jim didn't really stay in touch with her. Anyway, a few months later, they crossed paths again. And this time they spent the night together and had a really nice evening. And then maybe stayed in touch for on and off for a few, conversations. And then Jim kind of faded away. And she hasn't heard from him again for weeks and weeks now. So anyway, her question to me was, what are his feelings towards me? What does he think about me? And it's clear that Karina obviously has been thinking about him and is hoping that it will turn into something more. So in order to answer this question, what I have to do is first and foremost tune into him. I send my intuitive mind out to wherever the customer is in the world, make a link with what I call their engine room, their inner world. You've always got to go to the inner world. No good looking what is projected to the outer world. You've got to go inside and also look at the energy field. And then I just wait, eyes closed, because what I'm doing is I'm looking here. There's a lot to be seen here, the screen of the mind. First of all, I wait to see what sense develops. That's the most important thing. And then secondly, what images take shape and form on the screen of my mind, be they still frames or moving clips. And then I can piece it together and interpret. Now, so Jim, the human being behind the love interest persona. So he is a nice guy. He feels as if he's a nice guy. He wouldn't deliberately set out to hurt Karina. In his mind, what they had was just mutually agreeable fun together. He enjoyed some conversation with her. They had a nice night. They, spent the night together. But he got the impression that she was just, an independent-minded lady, not looking for anything serious, kind of, just looking for the same kind of thing as him. And it wasn't pre-planned. It just happened. And then they kind of had a few conversations and he drifted off because his life was, aspects of his life were calling him. So, putting it all together, I could see very much that she wasn't on his radar. He had some fond memories of her, but that was about it. She wasn't coming up on his radar as something that was priority to him, that was important to him. And he didn't have a sense of guilt because he thought she felt the same way. Now, I suspect that if Jim discovered that Karina had started to think about him and wondering if there was a potential future ahead, then I think he really would have backed off pretty quickly. And it was no disrespect to her. It was just him, where he's at in his life and what's going on in his life. Now, obviously, that's not really what Karina wants to hear. And I am pretty certain that she will have gone to a number of other readers. She'll have asked the same question. And not all customers do it, but a high percentage of customers do that. And it's not a good thing to do. It's not a healthy thing to do because it can end up creating a fixation in our mind. And then there are some unscrupulous readers out there who will say, you know what, he's your soulmate. He's going to get in touch with you. It's your destiny. You're going to be together. Because, for two reasons. One is angry women can drag you over the coals on the internet when they don't hear what they want to about the love life. That's one reason. The other reason is, though, some people, they're just con artists and they just know what women want to hear. Okay, so she may well have heard some of that stuff. But, you know, the other question we have to look at is, just say it was a little bit different. Just say that Jim did start to think about her and did, think, oh, well, Karina was quite nice. Maybe I'll get in touch with her again and maybe I'll, put in an effort, see if we can take it somewhere. Even if that happened, the question I've got to ask when I'm tuning in is, would it still work? Would it still work? And in this case, I have to say no. And not because there's anything wrong with either of them, but what Karina really wants from a partner and in a long-term relationship is not really what Jim has within him to offer. But she won't know that because she doesn't know him well enough. And so all I can do is offer my insight. And at the end of the day, intuition is only ever about insight and information. There is nothing else. Nothing. Not to hear what we want to, not to be validated, not to be reassured, not an emotional crutch or painkiller. It's about insight and information. And of course, people have to make their own mind up. And I will often say to my customers, look, occasionally I'll say, you know what, you need to run a mile from this situation. This is not good. But often I will say, okay, look, this is my insight. These are my insights. This is my guidance based on what I've been feeling and seeing. I'm going to leave it with you. You have to make your own mind up. And sometimes I will say to them, you don't have to end the association. Just see how it goes. But keep at the back of your mind what I've been saying. Just keep it there and just see how it goes. And other times I know that at least some of what I'm saying to them, they already know it deep down inside. They do know it. But it can just be helpful to hear it from an outside source. So anyway, would Jim be a potentially compatible partner for Karina in the bigger picture? My intuitive insight is no. They don't really want the same things. They're in different places. And it's not really what she's looking for. But that's okay. Because not every single, person, love interest we meet, whether they're male or female, they don't all have to be the one. So I provided my insights and my suggestions on the basis of what I was feeling and seeing. I left it with her and I advised her to just see it for what it is. It was a nice time. She enjoyed it, but it's not a big part of the future. And I think the only reason she's thinking about it, focusing on it, she's a bit of a loose end, All of a sudden she's thinking, we get into these places, don't we? And she thinks, where am I going? Where am I going with my love life? Was that it? She will be thinking, was he potentially a future partner that I let get away? And I have to say, I don't think so. But only she can decide whether she is going to accept that or not. But it's interesting, isn't it? Anyway, so there you go. Don't forget to check out my website. The link is below. And like and subscribe.